Hello guys, the DB Grinder here, back at it again with another video, and this time we have a Runick tier with a little bit of Spright in it, deck profile. Also, sorry for it being very unorganized. This is the most unorganized DB Grinder list you'll ever see, but this was a list I was working on like a week ago, or I should say like stopped working on it roughly like a week ago. And yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and go over it. I was just gonna upload replays, but DB is like has me down bad right now, and I can't even like watch a replay, and I wanted content while I was gone at the YCS, so that's why I'm recording this. It's also really dark because I didn't think about recording decks until 7 p.m. But alright, hopping right into the deck list. So I play one Ibly, so you can either summon Ibly or Blue off of your Gigantic. Also, if you mill one of these, or I guess like any of these really, then you can like elf summon it back, because your elf doesn't have like a good a solid summon back in this deck, unless if you mill one of those, which, you know, you could argue then to like play more Sprites. Just throwing it out here right now, I think tier Runick is 10 times worse than Spright Runick. Do not play this deck if you actually want to do good. It's just more of a fun deck, so do not play this deck. It is actually dog water, just fair warning. And then I decided to play blue red instead of Jet Smashers, because like Smashers is a brick, and I was bricking on it a whole lot, and also milling Smashers isn't good, while milling red is good. So that's nice, being able to just have like more things to elf back without having to like really change it up. And yeah, you could also play Jet, Smashers, Starter in the deck. And then I think once you start getting to that point, you should just take the tier cards out. So the reason why I think Spright Runick is better than tier Runick, because Spright Runick, you can draw any Spright with any Runick card, and you're in there. You know, you're going to do something at least. While if you draw like a Hafenus or a Shaylin plus a Runick card, then it's like a lot more awkward. Well, it still works. Like, you can like summon out Fusion, bring out level 2, normal Shaylin, make Sprint effect, dump, make kick Kalos effect. And then you can grab Miri, mill 8, and then overlay, make Gigantic. And there's like that, which is something, right? Like, it's not overly bad, but it's not as good as just like having Spright cards. And then you like get hurt a lot more by like one hand trap. But 3 Hafenus, 3 Miri, 1 Rhino, 3 Shaylin. I only played 1 Rhino in this list. I wanted to cut down on it. You still need it to make Kaleido. I thought about playing 2 of it, because like that's what you do in like most other lists, because if it gets banished, then you still want to have access to it to get to Kaleido, or even just access to it like in general. But decided to play 1 of it. There's also, like, in this deck, you end up normal summoning a lot. Like I said, like, you have a lot of awkward times. You just normal summon Shaylin to like try to combo. And then 3 Droplet. So it's like 3 Droplet, 3 Super Poly as like the going second cards. This was Imperm, but Imperm was just like becoming way too low impact, like really not good. So I just put Droplet in instead. And then Super Poly. It's interesting because against tier, like Super Poly almost doesn't do enough. But against Spright, this card's really good. I actually don't know how I feel about this card in this deck specifically. I think that you don't really need it, and you could cut it, but there's really not anything like that impactful that you could cut it for, unless if you're cutting it for like Reaper, but then that's like really awkward, because then like your main deck can Ghost Reaper, and like, yeah, you hit the meta decks, but then Rogue can hurt. And also, like, tier, if they draw, like, you know, Instant Fusion or High Spirits or Called By, then they can, like, kind of just, like, make this card not really do much. 3 Planet, I just wanted to search. And I think that if I continued to play this deck, this might have ended up being cut down, because I was drawing so many hands with so many field spells, or you would like fountain draw into field spells. That's what would end up happening a lot more, is you like fountain draw into like blank field spells, and you have to like put Planet over fountain, which already feels bad, But there's also times where you've already used Planet, you started with Planet, replaced it with Fountain, and now you're trying to replace Fountain with Planet on the next turn. And it's also like, now it's follow-up instead of actually doing something right away. And then 3 of the MST, 3 Flashing Fire, 3 Imperm, 3 Rhoda, and 1 Slumber. Slumber is just a card that you can just like, activate at any time. But also can protect Ibly, because you can activate it on it so that way it can't attack. I played a bunch of the Runick cards. You could play a lot more, and then like your Runick engine becomes a lot stronger, which is something to definitely consider. 2 Fountain, I think it's like the perfect number for this deck. You don't want to play 3 of it, because like you don't really want to draw it. It's okay to draw if you're going, even like going second, it's like okay. You have to have other Runick cards with it, and then if you mill it, you can add it back with Fangs, you can search it off this, you can like replace over it with Planet, and then Fangs, add back. Then 1 Terraforming, because this can search Fountain or Planet, so it's cool that it can do multiple things. And then just 1 Solic. Solic wasn't even coming up like that much for me in this build. Again, like this deck is like really, really bad. Like I really gotta like express my feelings about this deck. This deck is really unplayable. And then onto the side deck. The side deck's really goofy, but I played 1 Druid Worm. I think actually having like 1 Druid Worm in a list can make sense, because if they have Magma, then you can out Magma, and you can like Dark take Druid Worm, like search end phase, so that's pretty cool. And it's like just a 1 of that you have to play, and it's also a hand trap, and when it leaves it's going to do something. Then 3 Ghost Reaper, 3 Gamma, Driver, 1 Muddin for time, 1 Dweller for tier, because the extract was like super tight, so I ended up cutting the Dweller and putting it into the side deck. And then Storm, a pointer, Evenly. I think Evenly's bad now. This was like, I would say like this deck list was made like as the final touch to this deck was done like as Utrecht was starting. And I think Evenly then was better than it is now. I don't think it's actually that good now. People also know about it. So, you say end of main, people are, they might starter, carrot, negate Evenly. Since Evenly, people are even main decking it, people are going to be more prepared for it. Storm's really good. A pointer can hit Lava Golem or Sphere Mode also, which is nice. And then I just played 1 Fangs, 1 Fusion level 2. You don't need to play more than this, to be honest. If you just play it, you really only need 1/1. Like once you start playing, you're gonna realize you really only need those, and you can put them back too to make like Dragos Palea or Mud Dragon, like with this. 1 Garua. Garua comes up a bunch because you just make it and get a free draw, and it helps your Runick package a bunch. Mud Dragon, Dragos Palea, Kaleido, Kit, Lulu. I don't think I need to explain any of those. And then 1 Gigantic, I'm playing Spright stuff, and I'm going for Ibly. And then 1 Dark, Dark, Standard, IP can go into Unicorn or Ouroboros, and it also can be there to protect Ibly, 1 Unicorn, 1 Elf, 1 Sprind, and 1 Ouroboros. So again, the extract's really tight, so you can't play like multiple Elf or anything. You don't even really need multiple Elf in this build. You're not playing like a bunch of Sprites like the other builds where you're playing like Jet, Starters, Smashers. So then like it can be important to like Elf summon back one of those, so that way you get more stuff like on your second turn. Then Ouroboros, very, very good versus tier. Also like if you're like trying to break a board, you can like Ouroboros to just like out the board. You can also wait for them to like commit a lot and then Ouroboros them, which is usually what I end up trying to do with it. And then, it comes back and it's pretty beefy. Runick cards also banish stuff from your opponent's deck, and this card ganks attack when stuff's banished. So that's also like, something that's like not really going to come up, but just like a cool interaction. There are some things about this list that I might talk about after the YCS. Because remember, this is being recorded Thursday. It's Thursday, like 7 p.m. right now. And then This will be uploaded like Saturday or Sunday, right around then. So after the YCS, I'll probably speak more about different like cool tech options that you can play and everything, and just different things that you can play in general. But I don't want to like, release that now, like before the YCS. So I'm gonna do it afterwards if I do it. But yeah, here's just some ideas about the deck. A quick deck list you can just grab, and you're definitely going to end up needing to change it. Again, I haven't really worked on it in a little bit now. If you want to see me playing with the deck, you can check out my Patreon down below. I posted a match of me playing with it. It was a pretty decent match. It really just like showed off like what the deck can do. It wasn't like the greatest match overall. And I think that is really it. Yeah, that's going to be it. With all that being said, the DB Grinder signing off. Peace. Have a nice day. Stay safe.